This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Steve Hall is with us today, and it's Steve Hall's birthday!
Yay! Congratulations and jubilations.
Not cancelled. I know what you're thinking, but not cancelled. So you can text the show. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Producer all right, Frank? Oh, she's still standing, isn't she?
I think, yeah, she's still standing. Elton, you're right. Well, you just seem a bit. Okay.
Frank,
Elton, all right.
Question. Why does Elton... He's quite an extreme spectacles wearer.
Yeah.
He only does square or round. Nothing in between.
Oh, he must have done stars. He must have done stars.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
he did everything.
He certainly did.
But do you know what I mean? He's a statement spectacles wearer.
Yes.
So either very square or very
Based on the
round.
windows in play school, his glasses have to fit through.
Wasn't there a house? There was a house in the paper once that looked like Elton John. It was a thatched cottage with square upper windows, and it really looked like Elton John.
Well, you tell me that all the mums in your school playground growing up looked like Elton John.
They did look like later Elton John, yeah. You know the yummy mummy, that didn't exist in Birmingham in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, did they not? Well, come back on the way back.
They looked like Sir Elton in big coat. Yeah, but we loved them.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, I don't know where we got to that, but it doesn't matter. Who
Okay.
cares how we got to it, as long as we got there.
Exactly.
That's what Roald Amundsen, I remember, said to me once.
Extraordinary.
Okay, so I was driving down Park Lane last night,
Fancy.
Very nice.
and ironically, I couldn't find anywhere to park. And that's deliberately misleading people, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Emily asked me not 5 minutes ago who was Daryl DK.
Well, I was intrigued by a video, a West Brom player. He's a West Brom player, I know that
Yes.
much. But there was a video that seems to have gone viral of him.
Well,
Yes,
Daryl
Don
DK, he made a confession this week, which I think you particularly will like, Emily, you being a fashion goddess of old,
Yeah.
less of the
That's
old.
the old, thank you.
That Daryl, who arrived at the Albion, what would it be, about 8 months ago, I suppose, something like that, and got injured almost immediately.
Where did he come from? Barcelona?
He's playing in the MSL, is that what they call it, the American League?
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean. So-
Major Soccer League, yeah. So he's playing out there. But he looked the part. It looked like it was going to be great. So he got injured, and then he started this season. Thank goodness he'd got over it. He got injured again.
Oh.
So he's had time to,
Reflect.
think about stuff, go on social media. And one of the things he's confessed to is, having been here for 8 months, when he first arrived, he went out and got all his stuff so he could wash his clothes in his lovely flat and all that. And he realises now that for the last 8 months he's been washing all his clothes in dishwasher fluid.
He's got the old Powerball going on,
Yeah,
on the
somebody
small.
said on Twitter, I think he said he's arriving at the training ground smelling like a Finnish Powerball. But he had no idea. So I don't know what that... I wonder if he gets those lumps of pasta. You know those lumps of pasta sauce that just never come off in the... You have to do them separately with your fingernail. I hate that.
Well, I've only just discovered the whole salt thing.
Oh, so what is that about? Somebody said, I said, oh, it's not cleaning properly. They said, oh, if you put the salt in. I said, no, I'm not talking about the Victorian wash house that I have in my cellar. I'm talking about a dishwasher, a 21st century dishwasher. Now you have to put salt in. I bet Daryl DK didn't know that. He's probably put it in his washing machine. Salt, now salt.
He'll be cooking fish and chips in his dishwasher.
Exactly.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank was telling us off air he got a text about Daryl Dilke, and I think that's so nice that people are contacting you about your team.
Yes. Well, it was
doesn't happen
actually
often.
from it was from Matt Ford, and it was repeating a tweet that said Daryl's been walking into training smelling like a finished Powerball, and I texted back, "I'm just happy he's walking." It's been a. I don't think he's ever had an injury before, and he's come to the elbow. I think it could be something to do. If there's any physiotherapists, stroke former laundrette workers listening, I just wonder if that somehow contributed to his
the
injury.
Powerball.
Yeah.
Was he? How did he find out? Was he told? Did someone say?
No, he
"Mate,
said
you
he
saw-"
went to buy another pack of it and couldn't find it in the washing up section, in the the washing powder section. I thought that's weird. I think he asked someone the brand name, and they said, "No, mate."
So, salt in dishwashers.
Yes.
Here's my
Is that a crime? Assault in dishwashers?
Here's my theory, because I don't like. I mean, part of me loves putting the salt in, because I love pouring it in. Because you put it right up to the top, but I don't like the crunchy dial thing. You know, when you have to screw
Yeah,
it
that's
back
a
on.
very walking down a gravel path noise.
It's very
is,
Radio
yeah.
4 sound effects woman
I
wearing
think it
a
is
badge.
arriving at the Great Gatsby's party. Anyway.
Oh dear. So I have a theory. I'm not convinced you need the salt. Here's my theory. I think it's a Betty Crocker type of scenario. Do you know what that is?
Is she like an American super housewife?
She is famous for the cake mix.
Okay.
I don't say she's famous. I mean, that's pretty much all she's famous for.
Okay.
But when they originally sold the cake mix, none of the American ladies liked it at the time.
When would
because
this
they
be,
felt,
50s?
Yeah, it made them feel lazy. So someone solved this. A marketing genius said, "I know. Say add one egg, and then they'll love it, because then they'll feel
Right.
involved in the
Very
process and they'll feel
good.
less guilty." I think that's what they've done with the salt. I don't believe we need the salt. I think they've Betty Crockered us, and they've said, "Oh, let's pretend. Let's say to them they need to add salt so they feel involved."
I'm buying that, because that works. The sense of achievement when
Yes.
if I do the double, if I do the salt
the double.
and the rinse aid, I feel like I deserve
I
an
did,
hour.
I
an
did
hour
rinse
off.
aid in 1997 at Wembley.
Hang on,
So great.
I've never done the rinse aid.
I don't know. I don't know what the rinse aid is.
What's the rinse aid?
There's a thing on the front of the dishwasher. There's lights that say
I've seen that.
there's a light that comes on that says needs salt, and there's one that says needs rinse aid, and you have to stick it, so it's a liquidy thing, and you stick it in.
What kind of talk is that?
Am I being pranked by my dishwasher?
Rinse aid.
No. You know
What
what?
a lousy charity that would be, to raise money for rinsing things. I mean, really?
It should be presented by someone really like, "I tell you what, mate, you've been rinsed."
Yeah. Yes, people drive their car and give it a quick rinse.
Danny Baker could do a spin-off of the Doorstep Challenge from
Danny
Kaz.
Dyer, you've been absolutely rinsed, mate. I've also got something else I'd like to share with you, Frank.
Yeah.
I've been listening.
You're not going to share it with Steve. We're keeping him out of
Oh,
this.
yes, that's true, Steve. That's very cruel of me.
No, it's fine.
It's his
all good.
birthday.
It's my birthday. I'm really middle-aged.
I love the way Frank says birthday. Say it again.
No.
Oh, it's so
It is
adorable.
the anniversary of Steve's birth.
Oh, I don't want him to be self-conscious. Well, we've got a
Oh,
couple of...
no, you're really helping that. Why don't you say that again on air? Come on, and we'll gather round, everyone. Frank's going to say it again.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I don't know if you, any regular readers will recall, but a few weeks ago I was talking about what ridiculous things you've seen written on your clothing. You know when it says things like 1958 solid canvas Miami and stuff like that on a tank top, or
Yeah.
not a tank top, usually a hooded top, and you think, well, no one ever questions what it all means. And I've got a T-shirt on today, which I think falls into this
Let me have a
category.
look. Oh, Frank.
It says Blue Guru Unplugged.
And then it says 27 in the corner, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
if anyone can help me out with what on earth that means, it's got a picture of a gentleman with a turban and large beard in a full lotus position.
It has the look of it could have been a band in the 60s.
It does have that. I can imagine it on a photocopied poster next to Jefferson Aeroplane,
Yeah.
separated by some psychedelic swirls.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got that kind of, it was live at the Fillmore.
Yeah. As for 1957, heavy-duty canvas Miami, I don't
Do you know
know.
what I'm finding slightly depressing is that exactly when I was younger, it was always Los Angeles, and it was things like 1964 or 1952. Now it's things like 1989,
Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No,
I don't like
no need
Frank,
to.
can I share this with you? Rosie Ross
Yeah.
has tweeted us. Went to the New Forest Reptile Centre.
Oh, a place I tried to find once. I never found it. I mean, Steve, we honestly drove up and around and down 50 times before. And I've never been there.
You never made it
what's
off the motorway, is that right?
No, I think we went on to some country lanes.
Is that
but
an area famed for quite patchy Wi-Fi reception with a sat-nav?
It's famed for that.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
The New Forest. You see, I'm thinking pony. I don't know about you guys. Trees. Is that true? It's famous
My
for its
brother
patchy
goes to
one.
the New Forest quite a lot and says they always lose Wi-Fi and the sat-nav goes crazy.
What does he do there?
His
He
brother...
works at the New Forest Reptile Centre.
Yeah, his
No, go on.
brother-in-law owns a little cottage there, so they
Oh,
sometimes...
lovely.
Okay.
Rosie Ross has a review.
Yeah, Rosie Ross's review. We should do this regular feature, the 3 R's.
I can't quite move on from the little cottage he owns there, but I'm going to hold on
Do
to that.
people still talk about the 3 R's being important in education, reading, writing and arithmetic? Do you remember
No.
that?
No.
And there's also a fall song, and he talks about the 3 R's: repetition, repetition, and repetition. Anyway, what's
Rosie Ross, the review.
He became a bit W.C. Fields, Marky Smith.
did he there? Repetition, repetition.
I was telling some friends only last night about Baby Leroy,
Oh yeah.
that baby in the W.C. Fields movies. It's not a lovely story, so we'll move on. Went to the New Forest Reptile Centre. You dodged a bullet. It consisted of 3 frogs and 1 lizard.
Oh,
Rosie is also...
No, I mean, you could see that in a forest without having to build anything around it.
And Rosie has also said, I hope the grass snake is having a better time. I've made sense of that by a picture enclosed, which shows a whiteboard written in green, Pod 4, the grass snake is on holiday.
Oh, wow. Wow, I'm still trying to find its way back.
Yeah. Grass snakes in a car somewhere go, we're completely lost.
Yeah,
This is
can't see
ridiculous.
this anywhere. There are homing pigeons flagging down the car saying, have you any idea where...
Well, it says Pod 3, you can see the snake, and then Pod 4, the grass snake is on holiday.
I'm worried if you go to a reptile centre and anything is referred to as the snake, you're going to feel they're a bit understocked.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was just going to share with you briefly from 501. Hi, Frank. I'm a long-time reader, but I rarely get to listen live. Oh, welcome, Matty G. However, today is one such occasion, and there's something that's been on my mind for a while that we need to discuss. Okay?
Okay, I'm
Take
ready.
a deep breath, because I know sometimes that can be quite stressful, hearing that. You have previously noted the unreported extinction of silverfish. Would you...
Well, I don't see silverfish anymore. When I grew up, I would get up, if I got up in the night or anything and put the light on, silverfish have assembled on the floor and they all scattered to the skirting board.
That was a bit of a disappointing Marvel franchise. Silverfish Assemble. Anyway, Matty G continues. What if it's Matt Goss?
Oh, yeah.
I love him. Anyway, you've previously noted the unreported extinction of silverfish, and I too had thought they were now a phenomenon consigned to my childhood. A few years ago, I moved from London to Birmingham. Yes, it is better. And imagine my surprise and joy to find a shoal of silverfish living the life of Riley in my bathroom. I also have a lot of earwigs in the garden. Coincidence?
less keen.
I think not.
Yeah. Less keen on earwigs, but silverfish, that's good. I like the shoal as well.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if that is the collective noun for silverfish, but it should be.
Perhaps someone could tell us, someone who knows, who would know about those things?
As some sort of zoologist.
Maybe Attenborough? Still alive at 96?
I don't want to get him involved.
Still alive at 96,
He'd
man.
probably send me a video of silverfish being set fire to by children.
Silverfish getting into some fisticuffs with the earwigs.
It's interesting that because obviously silver fox is regarded as quite a flattering thing. I think I could popularise. He's a bit of a silver fish.
Yeah. Grey-haired, sort of a good-looking grey-haired man used to be a silver fox.
Yeah.
Which is odd because you never heard that said of a grey-haired woman, even though women used to be called quite foxy. If there was a strange contradiction, it seems to me.
Who would you say is currently sat in the silver fox chair?
Clooney, I think.
Lovely.
I would say Clooney.
I'm going to put Lineker in there as well.
Oh, Martin Kemp.
Lovely.
I saw David Gedge from The Wedding Present.
yeah.
Magnificent band. And he previously had dyed his hair black, and it looked like someone who'd obviously overdone it on the Just for Men. And he's now embraced his silverness, and he looks incredible.
I like that we've gone Clooney, Lineker, David Gedge from The Wedding Present.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly. I'm thinking of who's the guy who did Blue Velvet and Eraserhead and all those movies?
David Lynch.
David Lynch, he's a good silver fox.
Lovely.
And he explodes into silver foxiness. But who's your female silver fox?
Wow.
Ooh.
Now you're talking.
Tricky, isn't it?
I don't. We're going to have to give that some thought. Any members, any
trying to
female
think,
members of
well,
the wedding present?
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Silver Fox.
Talking about.
And we could come up
It's
with
a
a
track
lot.
from Blue Guru there, Unplugged.
And we discovered that there seemed to be a number of men that immediately.
Silver fox. I mean, too many men to discuss
Yes.
possible silver
Yep.
fox. Struggling a bit with a female. What does that tell you about society and its attitudes to ageing?
Well, Lisa.
No, it wasn't a rhetorical question. No, carry on.
Lisa, 66, has got in touch.
All right, now I need to start naming and shaming.
Now, I don't know, but I feel, I don't want to lead the witness here, but I just think this might be a little bit up your trouser, Frank Skinner.
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis is your female silver fox.
I always loved Jamie Lee.
Yes.
And then I interviewed Jamie Lee, and
How did
she
it
was
go?
everything I wanted and more. She was fantastic.
And she married to comedy greatness as well, isn't she?
Oh, bring that up! Who's she married to?
Christopher Guest.
Oh, is she? I did. Oh, yeah.
Lord Guest.
Yes,
Of
indeed.
course.
Yeah.
He's posh,
course.
Frank.
Yeah.
Just so you know, off air sometimes what Frank does. So he's posh, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or she's posh,
I
is
think
she?
it's good to. I don't do it with malice. just categorisation. My female silver fox would be the woman in the colour supplements who walks into a walk-in bath. She's an attractive woman.
Well, so far we've got Jamie Lee Curtis, and then we've got 766 Morning Team suggestions for female silver fox. Helen Mirren. Or newly self-outed as silver, Dawn French. Helen Mirren, I'm point of order there. I wouldn't describe as silver. I think it's a sort of it's that Beverly Hills blonde, which is that sort of ash blonde for a lady
Okay.
in the winter of her years.
It's interesting, that distinction.
Yeah. We were discussing, Faye in the studio was mentioning Gillian Anderson, and we were trying to remember whether or
Can
not.
you not name check? Faye?
Hey, extraordinary caveat.
Have I broken a cardinal rule of the studio?
Because I'm going to have to say, she's posh. But no, you've made me do it. Anyway, carry on, Steve.
Faye
Faye.
mentioned
Don't mention my name, for heaven's sake.
Gillian Anderson, and we were discussing whether or not she's. And I just had a quick Google while
here we go,
REM were
Faye.
playing, and she is indeed occasionally grey. There's a few images where she's allowed herself to go au naturel.
Do we allow that?
Gosh,
So is it an
absolutely
occasional
not.
silver fox, or do they have to fully embrace?
No, you've got to
Permanent
be a
silver
committed
foxes.
silver fox. You can't dally with this.
We
Yes.
also had Iona has tweeted to suggest Penelope Keith, and not like not in jest. I think, with no disrespect
Well,
to Penelope Keith.
No. I'll give you silver. No, I love Penelope. She is posh. No, she.
She is posh. though.
David Taylor, who used to be a snooker player. It was the first person I ever heard described as a silver fox. I mean, I don't know if I'd love to find out that's where it originated. In
Well,
description.
923 has said, can you add a footstool to the silver fox chair and include those that dyed their hair to cover the grey and then gave up and appeared to go grey overnight? Example, Sir Tom Jones.
Schofield.
Hashtag including goatee. Barrowman.
Schofield,
Yeah.
like Barrowman, yeah, good one.
Yeah, okay, the footstool.
Yes,
I embrace the footstool wholeheartedly as a concept.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
A footstool for the chair. Yeah, so there is something wrong there that we ought to be able to name hundreds of.
Yes.
I do think, though, it has always been the case, has it not, that women are much more casual about dyeing their hair, even in their youth, than men. Men see it as a bit of a thing that you have to be all ashamed of and stuff, like so many things that men think. Anyway, we'll be back on the thought for today.
We're discussing many things that men think later.
Yeah, with the Reverend Frank Skinner. We'll be there for more thoughts after this.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Steve Hall is here today, the birthday boy. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
John Hopkins, one of our regulars,
Hopkins.
he's been in touch. He said, I'm going to go Route 1 on the old Silver Fox theme. Male Clooney, female Mirren. Although ex-Villa midfielder Lee Hendry is cutting quite the dashing
Yes.
figure on Soccer Saturday at the
But again, a
moment.
man.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
471 has texted pointing out surely the women should be called silver vixens, not foxes.
Yeah, but it
Well,
sounds...
you say that, but look, what about Foxy Lady and all that?
It would change. Vixeny lady.
Yeah.
Less.
Also,
not good.
Silver Vixen.
No, it's too many syllables.
Sorry,
By the time you get-
471. I fought the good fight for you.
Yeah. No, it makes absolute sense. But
Vixen sounds a bit Elvira, Mistress of the Night or whatever. I
also,
don't...
well, like
remembering-
most people now, I see gender as no more than a bourgeois construct.
This is... Have you seen 398? Posh Silver Fox. Zanny Minton Beddoes, editor of The Economist.
That is, I must admit, as one I will have to Google.
Yeah, that's.
Unless she's the walking bath lady part-time.
Well, I
Has
hesitated
Samantha
to.
Fox gone
I mean, it
grey?
shows the difference, and I'm thinking, which Minton Beddoes is that?
I hesitated to read out that text in case it was a fake, like Zanny Minton Beddoes. You Google it and it's some sort of.
You Google it.
I think I used to go sledging in Minton Meadows.
Well, talking of sledging,
Yes.
we've had Ruth got in touch about the cricket.
Oh, yeah.
Did Frank note that Ben Stokes and Ben Folkes
Both got hundreds,
scored
yeah.
centuries. I mean, he knows already. In England's first innings at Old Trafford this week, I know the Bens have had a mention on the show before.
Well, Emily was taken aback that there's a Ben Stokes and a Ben Folkes in the same.
It's not
team.
made enough of.
No, well, they both got hundreds.
Wowee. Isn't it
Tremendous.
funny? Do you have friends that when you see something on TV, it really sticks in your mind, even though it's not something they do? Whenever I see the cricket, I saw a clip this morning, I thought, oh, Frank will be pleased about that.
That's absolutely correct.
Whenever I see men in white sort of go, yay, on a field.
With the cricket, I still get the fact that Andy Zaltzman, our comedy friend, is now living his perfect life.
Now, if ever a bloke got their dream job, or woman, it was Andy Zaltzman. He's now this... I mean, I've been at several cricket matches with Andy Zaltzman.
Does he do cricket commentary?
And Andy Zaltzman, on a cricket match, before he did any of this, he's always on his phone saying, actually, that's the only the third time at Old Trafford that an eighth wicket stand has gone above 63. I mean, it's all that stuff, and now he's doing it for a living.
So he's the statistician on Test Match Special.
It's really...
And
man.
it is everything he's done some amazing stuff in comedy, but that's the perfect
I
thing
wouldn't
for him.
say amazing. I'm joking.
Oh, my God.
I'm joking.
Is he posh?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
He's
so definitive
clever.
now.
His dad's
He's
an
clever.
artist. He's from Bohemian.
Oh, is he like... He's arts and crofts like me?
His dad is an acclaimed sculptor.
I didn't know
But
that.
then again...
Zach Zaltzman.
But then again, no.
Yeah. And then he was in the Three Stooges, of course, in his early days, Andy.
Ultra Magnus.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot believe everyone is overlooking the Queen. # Silver Vixen.
That's actually not a bad, not a bad point.
Voice of controversy, I'm going to say there. But,
No,
you
I
know.
think she's...
Oh, she looks fabulous.
in her platinum year.
So listen, I was platinum. I thought she was silver. Make your mind up. Anyway, I was sitting in a social group the other night with some people who I didn't know that well, but who were very nice. And I was talking about there was a couple there who I love, and I said, I still can't believe that I didn't go to your wedding. Everything. All the universal truths suggest I should have been at your wedding. And they said, you didn't know us when we got married. I said, yeah, but I don't think time is a good enough excuse. And this guy said, I love that. I'm having that. He said, I'm going to put that in one of my songs. And it turns out he's in a band.
Well, normally when you say this, it's placebo or something. When you say he's in a band.
I didn't know the band, but I didn't say. Hold on a minute. I let it go. I let it be stolen. But it did make me think that apparently Ringo Starr. They said, "How you doing, Ringo?" And he said, "Oh, I've had a hard day's night," and it was like a mistake. And John Lennon thought, "I'm having that." And then at Tamla, one of the backing musicians, I think, somebody said, let's go to the bar. And he said, I second that emotion. And that became a song. I just thought it might be unusual lyric origins. Might be a good texting. So I find that interesting.
I like that.
Let's put a
All
ban
people
on...
stealing your ideas.
Yeah.
Very happy to do that.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of
let's do
material
that.
on that.
Let's avoid What's the Frequency, Kenneth, which is about an attack in the street.
Yes.
Let's avoid that one. But Dan Rather,
Yes.
in fact, who I think used to present with Sheila, actually. But unusual lyric origins, I'd like to hear that.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I just share something with you both? I've discovered a wonderful source of comfort and entertainment.
Yeah, so was Daryl Deaker.
He's been using that in the oven. A wonderful source of comfort / entertainment for my canine best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Not just canine, I don't need that caveat, best friend.
Okay.
Sorry, Frank, you're in there.
No, it's
But
all right.
Ray is pole position at the moment. I've discovered a Simon Callow dog story. Are you familiar with Simon Callow? Would you care to maybe refresh the readers who aren't familiar, boys?
Yes, Simon Callow played Charles Dickens in only the second episode of the revived Doctor Who. He's a famous English actor.
4 Weddings.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised to hear that. He seems quite loyal. And he also does a one-man show about Shakespeare. He loves the theatre. It's as simple as that.
And he provides a voice in the fantastic kids' cartoon Sarah and Duck.
Does he
Occasionally.
really?
Love it. Well, he also provides a voice in the fantastic Dogs audiobook. It's not really an audiobook, it's quite brief. But what's great, he gives it some welly. What I like about Callow is that he doesn't think, oh, it's a dog story, I'll just...
Can we just establish, I feel you've moved on a little.
Sorry.
Can we just say, this is stories for dogs.
For dogs,
not
yeah.
about dogs.
No, stories for dogs. Well, it turns out dogs are quite egocentric. They like stories only about dogs.
I tend to prefer stories about human beings.
Is he using human speech? It's not Simon Callow going ruff, 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 ruff.
Well, it might. I think we can say it might as well be.
I mean, isn't that what he often does anyway, as Brian Blessed?
I would say that the money spent on the writer of those stories has been somewhat wasted, because he could have gone da 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 da, and the dogs would have
What
loved
he does, he uses, I've read up all about it, because my dog is gripped. My best friend's dog was gripped, loves these stories. He uses what he calls a special dog intonation.
Okay.
So, which I call actors that my parents knew all talk like this. He says, there was a very special dog. He had a long tail. He extends all his consonants and vowels in that actual way. And
Are you barking? You're barking from adjoining apartments.
he was a good boy.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't have liked
And then
Rada
in the
much, because that's what
background-
they teach you to speak.
You
like
hear the
that.
creaking of a wheelbarrow full of money being carted off.
It sounds like, shouldn't that be at 78 rather than 45?
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we never mentioned, off air we mentioned this, the Grecian 2000 phenomenon. Because we were talking about silver foxes.
Yes.
Grecian 2000, for our younger listeners, who I obviously know don't exist, but anyway, was an advert. It was a product which you put on your greying temples. I don't mean if you were a Tibetan monk. I mean on your
I
hair.
was thinking an Athenian.
Yeah, maybe. They were very greying. I find marble ages very badly.
Yes.
Anyway, and then we got to the year 2000 and beyond.
All right, busted.
And I think they got a bit worried that it sounded a bit out of date. In fact, it needed a bit of Grecian 2000, Grecian 2000. But the advert used to be a young child saying to her dad, "Oh, Daddy, you're getting really old with your grey hair." It's a real cruel, savage opening. And then he would go for it. But Emily has just said to me, Grecian 2000, did that, was that to get rid of grey hair or to introduce it?
I thought it was to give you George Clooney silver fox flex, because I suppose when I was sort of younger, I thought that was a desirable look, because all my dad's friends had that. I call it the BBC producer hair.
Yeah. No, it was for men who just can't take the ageing process.
Did it dye it black then? Was it one colour?
I think it was just black.
Sort of your Ronald Reagan.
I am reminded of the opening chapter of Tony Cascarino's autobiography. Tony Cascarino, the former Republic of Ireland, and several other club sides. I think a man who was once sold for 20 tracksuits was the fee.
Some kind of a Judas Iscariot.
But
Out the back of a lorry, was that?
20
the tracksuits. That was the autobiography. His autobiography begins with him in the mirror dyeing his hair black, because he said his view is if the coach looks around the dressing room and it's a toss of a coin between him and the younger guy, he'll see that grey hair and think maybe not Tony this week.
Wow,
That's a good
that's
opener.
a really good insight.
Yeah, good
I
opener.
wonder if Bobby Charlton ever had that.
No, that's because they always pick Bobby Charlton.
Can I share this with you? I'm still laughing about the tracksuits.
Someone will have the exact details of that. I
About
think
the
it was. I
tracksuit?
think it was 20 or a fee though.
I mean, 30 pieces of leisure wear.
I mean, you don't want your fee arriving in JD sports bags.
Speak for yourself.
That should happen more in the transfer market.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, sorry, I was having some coffee. I was like a woman on a coffee advert going, lovely coffee. Simon of Sudbury.
Ah, yes.
I mean, I love Simon of Sudbury. I can't lie, I do. Hi all, in my factory working youth, my friends and me used to refer to the grey-coated, grey-haired older blokes.
I thought he was sort of was a sort of junior monk
So did
somewhere.
I.
Simon of Sudbury, who worked in a factory.
Yes,
Believe
but that's why I think he's had an interesting trajectory, Frank.
Yeah.
He's a bit somewhat Skinnerian, I feel. The grey-haired, grey-coated older blokes on the shop floor were referred to as the grey undead, which I guess is the diametric opposite to the concept of the silver fox.
Yes.
Would you say so?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. It seems a little unkind,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
But,
644 from Donna Hallows, re unusual lyrics. I remember reading somewhere, probably Smash Hits magazine, that Julian Cope's song World Shut Your Mouth was inspired by Jim Kerr shouting the phrase from a hotel balcony in Italy when he was trying to get some sleep.
Oh, okay.
I quite like that.
I like that as well. Yeah, it was unusual. It was unusual origins.
Yeah,
for
so that
lyrics,
she did
wasn't it?
come up with an origin story. She's
Yeah,
not
that was good, but I don't want anyone sending in
No.
something like misheard lyrics. We'll have to close the entire station down.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Laura Long. Morning.
Morning.
Laura Long says, morning. Salt needed for hard water. 3 exclamation marks.
Yeah, I don't really buy the hard water, soft water.
I think it's a
thing.
conspiracy.
I just think it is really wet water. You'll find is, yeah. I mean, this idea that some water you can't get a lather on your soap because it's too hard. Is that actually true?
I've not heard of it in terms of soap. I just thought it was
Well,
more
no,
like
that
lime
doesn't
scale in the
surprise
kettle.
me. Aye?
What about Clive in Sheffield? Dear Frank and Co. Oh, I wish we had a company called Frank and Co. What would we make? Jeans, perhaps?
Well, just suits with nothing worn underneath, like the Frank and Co monster. Yeah, go on. What does he have to say?
Oh, go on. Okay. One of the songs that sticks in my mind as having a really unusual lyric origin, got the brief, nailed
Yeah,
it,
got the brief.
is, so far so good, is the tale of a rock band about to do a gig in Switzerland after Frank Zappa when the casino catches fire.
Is this Smoke on the Water?
Yeah, by Deep Purple.
Some stupid with a flare gun. Is what they say. I've never heard.
what they say?
Never heard stupid used as a noun before. Some stupid with a flare gun.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
how it goes? Oh.
You know, one of
course
the
I
great rock riffs of all time.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the some stupid detail,
some
though.
stupid with a flare gun. Yeah,
Oh.
that's a great line.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a real incident. Apparently,
We've
there was
had a
literally
few-
smoke on the water.
Well, we've had a few big mo's,
Okay.
but I don't know if I should. I think that's cruel. 'Cause
We
big-
should say a big mo is a story that is delivered as if no one's ever heard it before, and most people have heard it before.
Let's leave it there.
And we call it a big mo because Gary Oldman's sister plays Big Mo, and people deliver that as you'll never guess. But we all knew. We all knew.
And we've also had, I'm going to call this a peak Frank Skinner show subject line in an email.
Okay.
Super marionette smoking.
Okay. So that was, yes. So Super Marionation was what the Thunderbird, Stingray, etc. were filmed in. Who smoked in those?
Well, Mr. Clive gets in touch.
Yeah.
Something out of Pipkins.
Mr. Clive got in touch to say he actually had this room booked for 9 o'clock. We've all got to get out.
It's a different Mr. Clive.
Okay.
Dear Frank and Emily and +1.
Sorry, Steve, but people don't know in advance.
He got in touch during the week, yeah. Read the Stingray discussion last week. I have a friend whose nickname is Troy, after the character from Stingray.
Troy Tempest,
It's not because he bears a striking resemblance to James Garner, it's because his head is proportionately larger than his body.
Okay, well, I had a bit. One of my first ever reviews said I looked like a Thunderbird puppy because my head was bigger than my body.
He's still known to us all 30 years on as Troy rather than his real name, Jonathan. I think there were just simply too many Johns and Jonathans in the group of friends at the time, so it had to be Troy. When you say it had to be Troy, I mean, then Mr. Clive continues, sorry, I forgot to add how uncomfortable it made me feel seeing Stingray/Thunderbird puppets smoke cigarettes all sweating.
Oh, yeah, sweating was a good one.
I'm sure that Virgil mopping his water-repelling brow whilst under pressure in some stressful or tropical disaster situation was meant to build tension, but it made me feel physically sick. The illusion of the character smoking was clearly some prop guy blowing ciggy smoke down a plastic tub linked to the puppets' heads. I'm sure there were outtakes of smoke billowing out of Jeff Tracy's eye sockets and ears.
Actually, there'd be brilliant outtakes from those shows.
Oh, what we need those in our lives.
Definitely.
Was that so? If you'd been compared to a Thunderbird's puppet, was that why? Because in last week's show, you got quite upset when Zoe said she was a very good Parker.
Tremendous work by Hall. We're not going to try and follow this link.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We are eating cake made by the much name-checked Faye as part of Steve's birthday celebration. I say as part of. It's Steve's birthday celebration.
It's delicious as well.
It is fabulous cake.
Yeah.
It's. I feel I'm 46, which feels like one of those. It's not worth.
Oh, you God! I thought you was old.
Yeah, I really. It's the hair. There is the days of possibly getting Grecian 2000 are long gone for me.
I don't think you're supposed to massage it into the scalp.
Yeah, never be a silver fox.
You could do one of those things at the the snooker, like Jimmy White used to. Had a spray can, and he sprayed, that like party string. He used to spray that as hair onto his head. Try that.
Did he?
I think you're a good bald man. You've got a good head shape for it.
I'll take
I'd
that.
be a terrible bald man. Worst ever.
Really?
Oh, like light bulb bald man. You don't want that.
I think you'd be quite intelligent looking.
No, exactly. Like I was 2,000 years ahead in evolution. Yeah. Oh, is that a man from Mars, or is it Frank Skinner gone bald? The Mekon in Dan Dare is, I'm thinking, as my reference.
Have you ever worn a bald cap for anything?
I have, yeah.
Extraordinary conversation you two are having.
I have, and I look terrible.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you wear
can't
it for?
afford to go
Was
bald.
it a sketch? One of your skits?
One of my skits. Yeah.
Okay. Howdy Doody has got in touch.
Oh, yeah. Howdy doody.
Paul Simon's mother and child reunion, which he saw on a Chinese restaurant menu. It's a chicken and egg dish.
Is it really? Mother and child, of course, chicken and egg.
It's an incredibly dark joke.
It is. I like
Mother and
it.
child reunion.
Wow. I love that. It's brilliant.
I wanted to. This is one of my own, and I'm worried that this might be a big mo. We mentioned the Beatles earlier. That 8 days a week. I think that came from Paul McCartney mishearing something the tour manager said on a plane, and that he said something about how hard they've been working, and just because of the noise of the plane, McCartney hears we've been working 8 days a week.
Right.
But that could be. It's
Although it does seem like quite a, and I'm an honorary Scouse, it's quite a Scouse thing to say if the tour manager was Scouse. We've been looking 8 days a week here, pal.
But you are, was it Derek Taylor, the tour manager, was he?
It sounds like it must be.
I know he was the PR guy,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't say it must have been really loud playing to mishear 7 for 8. But, it might be true, Steve.
Okay.
It might not. Simple as
At
that.
least as long as it's not a big mo. I could be
No, it's
100%
not a big lie. It's a big
incorrect.
lie. Which I don't know if that's better or worse.
This isn't true.
Okay. That's always a good preamble.
Well, maybe it is. I shouldn't sound so definitive
You've
about
gone
this.
a bit pics or it didn't
Yes,
happen.
I have a bit. This isn't true. I've gone a bit a sort of TV station with quite extreme views. Poncho, it's okay. Poncho sombrero. Ticket to Ride is actually about a train ticket to ride on the Isle of Wight. So see, I don't think it's true. Even Faye's crossing it.
To a place called Ride.
Oh, there is certainly. They did go pre-fame. There is a tale where they have a little holiday on the Isle of Wight.
Oh, maybe it is.
Have you got mixed up with That'll Be the Day, which I think was filmed on the Isle of Wight?
I'd like to
Well,
apologise
listen,
to Poncho Sombrero.
Can
I'm
I
trying to make this sound as dignified as possible.
Okay. By the time that sounds like a checklist, doesn't it? When we come back, I promise we won't mention any of this again. We'll just see this as a year zero.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I want to discuss something with you boys. Have you caught the documentary Welcome to Wrexham?
I
Wrexham.
have.
Why did the producer laugh when I said Wrexham? Is that weird, Frank? Something weird about Wrexham.
Look, if they laugh, just let it. Don't ever quibble.
Is it wrong, Wrexham?
I thought you were saying it deliberately, so it's Wrexham, but I thought you were saying it in the style of. I thought you were saying it as Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
No, okay, Wrexham. Wrexham.
Wrexham.
Okay, anyway.
Wrexham.
It's not as in West Ham.
It's as in. I know I can't say
I'm
that.
familiar with the team, and I'm familiar with the place. It's just a pronunciation
No,
difficulty.
yes. You'd say not am.
Okay, but it's like I say Birmingham. That's all right. Great.
Going down to Birmingham is a little Richard song.
It follows.
Way down in Alabama is what it says.
What was the other song, Frank? Way down on the count of three. Uh-huh.
That is called Way Down.
Oh, lovely. It follows.
Way on down. Okay, anyway.
It follows the fortunes of Wrexham,
Yeah.
which has been bought by two Americans,
Yes.
Rob McElhaney and the other one. What's the other one called?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Technically Canadian Ryan Reynolds. If we're
Deadpool, isn't he?
Yes.
I must admit I don't know the work of the other guy. Deadpool is
He's on
brilliant.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is...
Oh.
It's always on, but I've never watched
It is honestly one of the very best sitcoms that there has ever been. It is an absolute masterpiece. It's the longest.
Wow.
It's the longest running live
How can you
action
say that when the
sitcom.
creator of Shane is sitting here?
I'm appalled.
It's the longest running live action sitcom in US TV history. 15 seasons, and season 2, Danny DeVito joins and it gets magnificent. That's my little. Honestly, watch it.
Are you
And
doing
it's
a read?
I'm fishing. I
We
will.
get
I
accused
will
of doing
work for
reads
food.
when we talk about things.
Okay. That's good.
So, Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds, already, they bought Wrexham.
Yes.
I said it right.
We actually talked about this
We
on
did.
the show. They were going to buy Wrexham, and I think we thought it couldn't possibly happen because they're big, they're American stars, TV and film stars.
And they did.
And Wrexham, in case you're not into football, they're not in the league.
No.
They are in that league below. So they're not in the.
What's it called, that league? Is it what was Rushton and Diamonds?
It's the National League,
Then yeah.
but it's a not.
Back
They
in the
bought
day,
a
it was
non-league
Rushton
team.
Diamonds.
Bought a non-league team, yeah.
And what I loved, I love this documentary because I liked Rob McElhaney. There was honesty. I'm going to go Skinnerian levels of honesty, which I enjoyed, in that he said, I had money, but I had TV money.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't need TV money. What I needed was movie star money, and not just movie star money. I needed superhero movie star money. And that's why I
And then
hit
he
Rob
said,
up.
and then he said,
Rob
and
up.
I needed, and he listed about 5 companies that Ryan Reynolds had got.
And do you know what? I respect for that honesty. I loved it.
Well, what surprised me about when I heard this story originally about 2 American stars buying Wrexham, I assumed that they were 2 mates who were having a drink one night and put a pin in the football map, and it happened like they'd never met.
Yeah,
They bought the club before they actually met. And there was a line I loved. I think it was Ryan Reynolds who said it. And when he met, what's the other guy called again?
Rob
McElhenney.
When he
McElhenney,
met him, he said, "Oh man, it's great to see you not through a Disney princess filter." I thought that he's worked on that a bit, but it's a great line for someone you've only met on whatever it's called.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had an email. Someone has said that on the subject of inspirations for lyrics, someone is, I'm looking for their name, Sam, has said, in the early 90s there was a girl's perfume called Teen Spirit. I once read that during a recording or rehearsal of Nirvana's in the early 80s, a girlfriend of one of the band members made a comment that Kurt smells like Teen Spirit. The rest is history. That's not quite correct. If I can nerd it up for a second. It was Kurt.
If you can nerd it up, I think you will.
Thank you. Kurt Cobain was very good friends with Kathleen Hanna, the singer from Bikini Kill, who is now married to Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys.
Right.
And that is how she jokingly graffitied on his wall, "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit."
Okay. Jokingly.
Because it's not a girl's, it's a teenage. It's sort of the equivalent of Lynx or something like that.
Yeah.
And
So it was the fragrance she was.
it was a
referring
fragrance,
to.
yeah, and he didn't know that it was a fragrance, so he just liked the phrase and didn't know that it was.
Oh, he thought she was saying, "Oh, he smells like a cool
Smells
teenager."
like Teen Spirit in essence. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, interestingly, I've got a postscript to that, which is I've just had on that message from, was it Sam? Did you say?
Yes.
I've got that. You know those men at work, the yellow sign.
Text it again, Sam.
No, a yellow triangle with a black screamer, as they call it in the trade, the exclamation point, saying this function cannot be performed because the message has been changed. So they're tinkering with the message.
I don't know what that means.
If Faye could work this out, please. I'd like to return to the boys.
Okay.
Who have bought Wrexham.
Oh, yes.
The Wrexham boys, because as we've established, we like these men, don't we?
Absolutely.
Well, I did. I thought they had a very good energy.
Yes, well,
Yes.
it was in a way, it began as very sort of warm-hearted about football, what football means. I mean, football not like football if you're like a multi-million-pound club, but football like at the...
And people like you.
Yeah. Well, we're in the league. Anyway, and it was nice like that. And then early on, I don't think this is a spoiler, they have to do a bit of a clear out, get rid of the manager and I think 11 players. But they say, and they were released. And I've always thought the idea that people have been released suggests that they really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's like a bloodbath at the end of Ep 2 when they all go.
Oh, no.
So it starts warm-hearted and then it becomes a commercial venture, I think.
It's one of the reasons I loved it was it's more human. But the lad who gets sent off, and he's 33, and he knows that he feels he's let the team down, but also there's
He had let the team down.
and there's implications for his career as well. But that is the most human bit where he's just dejected in the dressing room. That and you really feel that, and particularly compared to some of the all or nothing documentaries.
How dare you? Where's yours?
But it was...
Southampton haven't had one.
I look forward to that one.
I did feel for him in the dressing room, like any human, sadness. But it was a terrible red card certainty of a tackle. Absolute leg breaker of a tackle.
I like that poignant moment. I think in the history of our team, our equivalent was Ashley Cole having to pull over with shock when he was offered, what was it,
only 4 million, wasn't it, a week? No, not not 4 million. I think it was 4 million a year.
55 grand a week. I think
Is that what it was? And he was
Yeah.
so upset he had to pull onto the hard shoulder. He was hyperventilating. Of course, now if someone was offered that, you would justify them just pulling across all 3 lanes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, we've been talking about the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. One of the things I like about it, it's very rare you get to catch up with an old mate via the medium of a documentary.
Well, you say that.
The bumbling Englishman that they send over, that Ryan and Rob send over to help.
Oh, he's
run.
a comic, isn't he?
He's a comedian. He's an old pal of mine. I haven't seen him in a long time. Humphrey Carr. He's posh.
Okay.
And the last time he won the Perrier. He won the best newcomer in Edinburgh in 2011.
Well, I think I might be able to top that, Steve Hall,
go on.
because they have an interview with Bryn Law
Yes.
on there, and Bryn Law, Adrian Childs, and I did a American road trip across Arizona and Texas. We flew to Vegas, saw Bette Midler live, met her backstage, and your mate was backstage.
Oh, which one?
The basketball player.
Oh, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, he was there. And then we drove and ended up in Miami on the beach with Steve Foster, the Olympic swimmer guy. What a trip that! But that was with Bryn Law, yeah.
Awesome.
Lovely.
And there he was on the show. These are not great selling points for people that don't know these guys, but it is, I liked it.
But one of the things people have picked up on is the subtitles. Because obviously this is an American streaming service.
Yes.
And they felt the need to subtitle it. Now, when we say subtitles, we're not talking about the option. You can't option. These aren't subtitles that you choose.
Are proper, yeah.
These are the automatically generated. When someone's speaking Mandarin or something, this is what you would. So,
well, I've told you before, but I do love it. I once went to a video shop in Harborne in Birmingham, and Betty Blue was one of the videos you could hide. You know that French film?
Beatrice Dalle.
Fantastic film. And someone had written in biro on a piece of paper and wedged it into, behind the cellophane thing, the plastic bit. And it said, subtitled, but still a good film. So, this is, and it's proper subtitles, not ones you switch on. But not every Welsh person or indeed English person in it. They just choose the ones they feel are the hardest to understand.
No, I mean, if you speak like Charles Dance, you're fine.
Yeah,
if you don't speak like Charles Dance, you're at risk, is what I'm saying. And people at risk were people from North Wales.
Was a Scouser, I think.
Was there a Birmingham? I don't
know. I don't think there was a Birmingham.
There was a Scouser, there was a Mancunian. And there was a goalkeeper, this was picked up on, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where this goalkeeper the keeper said something like, I'm in good nick. And that was subtitled as, I think I look good. Which seems a little unfair because, without that caveat, it completely changes the meaning, the self-deprecating caveat.
Yeah, well, they had some... They had little graphics that they explained the word nil, which is essential, of course, if it's going to be a documentary about Wrexham, one would think. But I thought nil was like international English speaker thing, but apparently in America... This is what gets. Is to be fair to the Americans, is if it was a thing about America, it wouldn't be subtitled because we've seen 10 million TV programmes and films set in America.
Well, no one's able to explain what touchdown means.
No, but we just know it. Whereas not many people probably in America have watched films set in North Wales.
No.
Yeah.
Probably.
No.
Well, and they were speculating that it was an American subtitler. But I think it might have been someone from the South.
Yeah, that is also. But I found it helpful. I don't know about you.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, 293. Hi, Frank, Emily and Steve. I just wanted to get in touch and ask Frank if he's aware that he had a mention in Thursday night's episode of Emmerdale. A character was on the mic at a party in the Woolpack who was trying to make a joke, to which another character said, "You're not Frank Skinner."
Well,
No.
Isn't that
I
lovely?
like
You
it.
sit
I
in the
like it.
joke chair.
I also I was on News at 10 this week
Oh dear.
because there was a
Serious Shame Commission.
There's a bin strike in Edinburgh. They're not collecting the rubbish, and there's a massive photo of a massive pile of rubbish next to one of my posters, which says Frank Skinner 30 years of dirt. So they use that as a sort of juxtaposition.
Okay.
Well, they weren't a complete waste of money, those posters.
Did you? Isn't that nice? You're in Emmerdale, Frank.
It is nice.
Have you done the triumvirate? Because you did. Did you do Corrie?
I've been in Emmerdale before, actually.
Were you in Corrie?
I was a mystery voice. No, I wasn't in. I haven't done
Will
any
there
of
be a PR person have to clip that up? It'll just be a little segment. Can keep it as a souvenir.
That'd be lovely, but I don't think they could be bothered. But in the old days, that would have been on my phone within 10 minutes. But
So
you don't get the respect you used to. I think, you see, the subtitles thing. I think every show now should come. I mean, because actors have basically forgotten how to speak. I think every drama, every film should just have subtitles. I know loads of people who watch stuff with subtitles now as a matter of course because the diction is so bad.
There's a campaign for kids called Turn the Subtitles On that helps kids read. So we always have, for all our kids stuff, I think Stephen Fry fronts it, where the idea is it just helps with literacy.
Well,
although I'm sorry.
Doctor Who, for example.
Oh, here we go.
I think this is not the mumbling, but whoever mixes the music
Steve
in
will
Doctor Who, it's like people are talk. It's like you're sitting in the middle of an enormous orchestra having a chat. So the music is so loud. When I'm reading my post-match reports on the Doctor Who shows that you get on the internet, loads of people saying, yeah, well, I noticed on subtitles, blah, blah, because everyone just assumes now it's got to be done. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah. Well,
Do your job.
there's an old...
A mate of mine who's an actor heard someone say that to a wardrobe woman. Will you do your job?
Oh, dear. There's an old heckle put down, isn't it? Do you come with subtitles?
Oh,
It's an old
yes.
in the club. So it's really for the people on some of the people on the Wrexham documentary. They can literally say, yes, I actually do.
But I don't think I'd be offended if I got subtitled for my accent, would you?
Would you not? I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't though, because people
it's
might.
fine.
Well, the subtitles, there was a paper in Wales that reviewed the subtitles in that show as patronising.
Do you mean
Okay.
I think they mean patronising for a start. Can I say
I think they should not say anything whatsoever that might alienate those two Hollywood millionaires. That's my verdict.
we need them here. I like them.
Who the millionaires?
I want to befriend them. You know, you've got an in with that man. You know,
Humphrey.
he might
Yeah.
help me.
I got the impression that Rob McElhenney was really keen,
Yes.
and the other guy, Deadpool, was not that bothered, but thought it's only a few million.
That's what I told you. Skinnerian honesty.
Yeah, it really felt like that. He wasn't that interested, but yeah, okay, I'll do it. Even though I don't know you. I mean, amazing.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
As we move towards our climacticals, do we have any more outside world
We
stuff?
do. 651. Good morning, team. Referencing Tony Cascarino's transfer for tracksuits,
Oh, yes.
John Barnes's move to Watford from Sudbury Court was also paid for in tracksuits.
Oh, okay. Do we have any numbers on these tracksuits?
What? I don't know.
I don't mean
What's
like,
on the back and
I don't mean
blazoned on the
squad
back?
numbers. I'd
What,
like to
number
know.
9.
I'd like to know how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
tracksuits these guys were worth.
I'd like details. Yeah.
You don't
Where
want it to be a
Yeah,
tracksuit.
they were Trevor Francis tracksuits from a mush in Shepherd's Bush. I want that kind of detail. I want to know what they look like.
What's your
Is that- Is
favourite?
that a line from a song?
It's from Only Fools and Horses theme tune.
Oh, okay.
One of those interesting choice, you know, and they had the different themes at the beginning and end,
Oh,
which
yeah.
both
Yes,
stand
yeah.
on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Which did you prefer?
I liked Hookie Street.
How did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, glad we cleared that up.
Crown Court used to have 2 different. Crown Court
How
was
did
a
it go?
daytime courtroom
Wait,
drama.
that wasn't. How did it go?
Used to go. Used to go. Da, 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 and then at the end they go. Wah, wah. And Stingray, of course, had.
Yes, yeah.
And then my
on
parents
the up,
would
Dennis
walk in.
Waterman on the up, I think I did.
And Fireball XL5 also.
Well, the thing about Crown
Fireball XL5 featured "I Wish I Was a Spaceman," the fastest as its closing thing.
I'll tell you what I didn't like about Crown Court was
I wonder how many radio stations are beginning a sentence like that this morning. I'll tell you what I didn't like about Crown Court, a daytime TV show from the 70s, yes?
there was a 72% chance of one of my parents coming in, smoking a cigarette, Dunhill cigarette, saying, Graham, lovely job, Graham's got that. There was always one of my parents' friends in a Crown Court, because someone would say, he's got a Crown Court this week.
When I first started going to the theatre, when I was probably about 20 or something like that, maybe a little older, when you looked at actors
Credits.
listed, it always used to say like Paul Braithwaite brackets The Brothers, which was a TV show. Now it would be Casualty, wouldn't it? I think.
You got it in one. Holby and Casualty
Yeah.
had become the new. For a while, it was a sort of Dixon of Z Cars. Then it became Crown Court. And you're absolutely right, Casualty. Congratulations, Frank Skinner. Hi, Frank. AC/DC's bedroom.
What I love on those, can I just say, is when you get films, you always get like 12 films that you or no one with you has ever heard. Where do those films in actors' credits in programmes, where are they shown, those films?
I think they're made up. By
I
some toast of
wonder.
London making them up.
Are they just like people emailing them to each other?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you actually, it's a film you've heard of, that person is a
It's
massive.
like lying on a CV. It's like claiming that you got a 2-2 from university that they're never going to check.
And there are some things that you're very safe because everyone's in them. For example, Band of Brothers. Everyone's in that. Band of
Okay.
Brothers. Never seen it. Never know anyone who was actually in it.
Doctors. I feel like every actor has been in it.
No, but I'm on about films. That's where it really happens. And it's
Okay.
a film, so that they're in something like The Terror of Nightfall. And you think, I don't know that. I don't know that. Captain Ellis. No. They're just stuff like that. I don't know if it's made up. Maybe there's a little tiny obscure cinema somewhere that shows them all. So yes, so that's it from us, and thanks for listening. And if the good Lord, thanks Steve actually, and enjoy the rest of your
Thank
birthday.
you.
What you got planned, mate?
We're going for a meal with the kids and the wife.
Okay.
And then I'm going to buy some
Jungle
I'm gonna-
Cave?
Yeah. Having listened to it last week, I'm going to check out the Jungle
Give it a
Cave.
go.
dear.
You'll get the birthday song.
No, definitely.
If you do, record it and send it in or bring it in. So look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.